It was midnight. Thick clouds covered the sky, and the moon seemed to have vanished. In the distance, only a pair of headlights pierced through the silence, speeding along a deserted road. This was the infamous Death Highway. No one really knew who gave it that name, but everyone knew one thing: whoever drove down this road either never came back, or came back changed. The driver's name was Mark, a young man returning home after a night out with friends. He wasn't drunk, just tired. His GPS had stopped working, and by mistake he'd turned onto this highway. The road was pitch black, trees on either side swaying like living shadows. Mark turned on the radio, but all he heard was static, and then a faint whisper through the noise. "Don't stop here." He frowned, turned the radio off, and chuckled to himself. "Probably just bad signal," he muttered. But seconds later, right in the middle of the road, stood a woman in a white dress, her long hair covering her face, her bare feet shining faintly in the headlights. Mark slammed the brakes, but the car skidded. There was a scream, and then silence. When Mark opened his eyes, the car was parked on the roadside. The windshield was cracked, but his body was perfectly fine. He stepped out. The night was eerily quiet. "Hello, anyone there?" Only the cold wind replied, hissing through the trees. And then he heard footsteps, slow, getting closer. Mark turned and saw her again. The same woman standing a few feet away, staring directly at him. Her eyes were empty, like darkness itself was trapped inside them. He panicked, jumped into the car, tried to start the engine, but the car was dead. The woman was now standing right in front of the headlights. Then suddenly she smiled. A smile so wrong, so unnatural, it couldn't belong to anything human. And in the next instant, everything went black. The next morning, police found tire marks, shattered glass, but no body. Mark's car was discovered by the roadside, but he was gone. It wasn't the first time. Over the past 3 years, more than 20 accidents had happened on that same stretch of road. Each time, the same signs, the same story, but no body was ever found. Locals say the highway is haunted. They believe a woman died there years ago in a car crash, but death never gave her peace. Every night she comes back, standing in the middle of the road, luring a new driver into her trap, dragging them into her empty world. 3 nights later, another car took the same route. The driver was Alan. He'd heard the stories, but he laughed them off. "It's just a myth," he said. It was midnight again. The radio played an old song. Suddenly the lights flickered, the engine sputtered, and the car stopped. Alan grabbed his flashlight and stepped out. Fog had swallowed the entire road, but within that fog something was breathing, slow and heavy. Then a whisper right by his ear, "You shouldn't have come here." Alan spun around and no one was there. But on the ground he saw wet footprints, leading straight toward his car. He ran back, threw open the door, jumped in, and froze. The woman was sitting in the driver's seat. White dress, dark eyes, that same smile. As Alan screamed, but no one heard. The next morning, people found his car. Engine still warm, doors locked, but no one inside. Some say it's a curse, others say she's taking revenge on anyone foolish enough to drive that road at night. But everyone agrees on one thing: whoever enters the highway of death never returns. Even now, they say, on cold, foggy nights, she waits, standing in the middle of that endless road. When headlights hit her face, she smiles, and the story begins again. So next time, if you're driving alone down a dark, empty highway and suddenly see a woman in white standing ahead, don't hit the brakes, because if you stop, you might just become part of the highway of death. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Hauntra TV, where every story begins after death.